Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is James. I hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday, and thank you guys for tuning in for this week's Arc Raiders weekly roundup. We have a lot of fun stuff to cover this week, including the release of a new map, new arc added into the game, and a patch with some hotfix updates. So stick around for the video if you are interested in any of that. Thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. It really helps out the channel, and we appreciate it. We also live stream every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you enjoy the video at any point, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. Now that said, let's hop right into the news for this week. First off, let's hop into some news around the game's release and quantities sold. It's being reported that Arc Raiders has sold 4 million copies, making it the most successful launch for Nexon, but also just a super huge success in general, dethroning Battlefield for the most games played, and just peaking absolutely crazy on the Steam charts. People are loving this game, and this is great news for the future of Arc Raiders. Then we had the exciting news that a lot of people have been asking for, which I'm sure many of you have already heard about, and that is the introduction of duo matchmaking and the reduction to store cosmetics costs. In the full blog post on the Arc Raiders website, they went on to say, "We have silently tested and enabled duo prioritized matchmaking beginning earlier this week. Duo matchmaking will work like this. We prioritize solos and squads to play separately, and after that we will prioritize duos to play with other duos and trios to play with other trios. Please note that this is not a 100% guaranteed system, so many times you will run into differing constellations of players other than your own." So this is actually great news, and I did notice this while I was playing earlier in the week with a friend of mine, that we did seem to be matching up with duos more often, and this is a great thing that they added into the game. Huge request from the community, and is overall going to be a great improvement to the matchmaking system. I do understand that they couldn't prioritize the different matchmaking systems, so that way, you were always with duos, but I don't think it's that big of a deal if you're playing smart and you're not taking certain fights and you're using your brain with your other duo mate there. So this is overall a great change. They then went on to say about store cosmetics, "We have heard your feedback and we reviewed our prices, made adjustments to lower prices where applicable, and revised prices will go live tomorrow, Thursday the 13th, which of course has already passed." And then they also said, "For the raiders who have already purchased stuff on the old pricing, we'll compensate you for the difference." This is huge. This is unprecedented. A game company going back and giving you money back for something you already bought, even though they know that they could have just kept it and held it. This is great. Awesome. Great job, Embark. We love to see it. They also felt the need to go on to clarify some things about Raider decks, where they said that gameplay items are only in free Raider decks and that there will be no pay-to-win items in the premium Raider deck, meaning that you won't be able to get any grenades or gadgets, those sort of things from the premium Raider deck upon release. That one will be strictly cosmetic and convenience. So that's good news to hear there. I know that there were some people, including myself, who were worried that with these Raider decks, the free ones specifically, having things like gadgets and even some legendary loot in there that you could earn by progressing through it, that this might carry over and create a pay-to-win element inside of the other Raider decks. Luckily, that doesn't seem to be the case, and I think that's a smart move on their part. Now, switching gears, let's talk about the new update, the Northline update, Act 1, where they introduced the new map Stella Montis, which originally was not immediately unlocked for players. We had to do a community event and work towards digging out the tunnels, and once the tunnels were dug out, that map became available and is now live and active. They also added in 2 Arc, the Matriarch and the Shredder, which are absolutely awesome and terribly, terribly painful to fight. I think I lost a good little bit of loot to a Shredder, which you can see in the gameplay in the background. These arcs are really awesome. Love seeing new stuff added in. There's also going to be a patch that was rolled out with this, and so some of those patch highlights, they said that they reduced character movement latency on servers to improve desync problems, where it looks like you were getting damaged even after behind cover, which is great fixings. Fixed an issue that prevents players from completing quests involving multiple objectives or items collections within a single round. I personally had that happen to me once. It was really annoying. I thought I could do it, had to come back and do it all over again for that second part of the objective. Then they said, fixed various achievements not working correctly, where players will need to redo some achievements with only one objective item. Destroy the Queen, for example, while other achievements with multiple objectives will only need parts of them to be completed again. Then they said that they reduced the delay between shooting at arc and seeing impact effects on the target. I can see this. There are some times when my bullet would hit an arc and it would take maybe a split second for that arc to lose the chunk of armor or to react entirely. And then they said fixed various locations where players could fall through the terrain. This happened to me on Buried City, where I was extracting with my friend and I just completely fell through the map and was underneath it for a good 5-10 minutes, and the only way that I got back up is actually to jump off the map and keep recycling, and eventually it threw me back into the correct area. So good to see them fixing that. That was really annoying, and I like that they're already spotting those major issues and going in and correcting them. There were also some huge balance changes made to items and item crafting. The first one that they have here is the Wolf Pack. Its value has gone from 3,000 to 5,000 coins, so it has gone up. But the crafting requirements have changed, where before you needed 2 refined explosives and 2 sensors. Now you need 3 refined explosives and 2 arc motion cores. But not to fret, they also made it so that you can unlock the arc motion core crafting recipe at the refiner level 2 instead of level 3, and you can craft it using less arc alloy. So this is a big change for balancing, but hopefully a positive one that we can see the effects throughout the game rippling. Then they said launcher ammo has gone from 100 coin to 200 coin. This doubles the trader cost for the launcher ammo, so it is now more expensive to purchase, but hopefully more valuable to sell if you actually end up going that route. Crafting the ammo, which will craft you 6, has gone from 5 metal parts and 1 crude explosive to now 4 metal parts and 1 refined explosive. Slight trade-off there, a little more in the explosives category, but just 1 less in the metal parts, which isn't a huge difference. Then the spotter relay has valued from 5 to 2,000 coins, so it's actually become cheaper. Security lockers were over providing valuable items, they said, and have been adjusted, so they have nerfed that. You won't be getting those crazy loot drops from those anymore. And then they have changed some things with the XP, where now you'll get more XP for shooting certain parts of the arc, like the Rocketeer Thruster and the Leaper Leg, but less for shooting the Bastion and Bombarder entirely. But you can find the full notes for this patch down in the description or on the Arc Raiders website, as I said before. A bunch of other stuff has been fixed, including animation with the arcs, audio, cosmetic stuff, map fixes, and just a huge laundry list, including some miscellaneous movement, UI, utility, weapons, and quests. But if you're interested in the full patch notes, those will be down below, as I stated. Now, I'd just like to take some time to give my opinion on the new map Stella Montis. I had a couple rounds that I was able to jump in and play before recording this video, as it was recently unlocked. And I have to say, I'm having a really fun time with it. It's close quarters, it's tight. It makes me feel like I have to shoot first in PvP situations, even though of course you don't have to. But it gives me that claustrophobia of somebody's right around the corner. You can hear people constantly running up, around, and behind you. I think this map design is great, and I would love to see more close quarters maps like this, and even kind of something similar to Buried City. But this one, the claustrophobia, is just so excellent. It's very immersive, and it makes me feel like I have to check every single corner before I pop around it, just in case I might get shot by another raider. It's great. I mean, I love it. I can't. Please, more of this, or Embark. I'm a big fan of this map design. Now, moving on to our last topic of the day, I just wanted to touch briefly on the kind of uproar that has been happening in the community surrounding the use of AI in Arc Raiders. There have been a lot of people online and in public discourse just discussing the use of it, and kind of there's some people who are upset. There's some people who I've seen online get refunds, go as far as to say that this is a terrible thing to do, that they didn't put a proper AI disclosure on the Steam page. And on that, I would just like to give some clarification. As the Arc Raider studio has before, they are not using AI to completely replace voice actors. In fact, all the voices that you hear in the game are voice actors. The AI is simply used to learn their voice patterns and repetitions and actually replicate them in things like the voice changer that you have inside of your settings, as well as some of the smaller lines further in the future for adding things like items and whatnot. But there are voice actors that are paid for these things, and I believe they will even get residuals if more stuff is added using their voice's likeness. So on that note, I do think that it's important to note that this is a tool that they are using and not something that they're using to completely cut out voice actors entirely. I mean, for Christ's sakes, this game uses machine learning so that the arcs get harder to fight as you progress through the game. Some people would say that that's an inappropriate use of AI, where I actually think that's smart and it keeps the game fun and fresh. And that's not replacing any of the coders currently working on the game or on the project. I do have issue with AI in games. I think that if it's being used to completely replace a person, then, you know, we should worry about it. But at this point with Arc Raiders, I don't feel that that is the case. But guys, that's going to do it for the Arc Raiders weekly roundup news this week. If you watched this far and you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give it a like. It really helps us out in the algorithm. We do a new one of these weekly roundups every Sunday morning, so you can stay up to date on the latest Arc Raiders news that has happened throughout the week and going into the new one. If you are interested in watching me play Arc Raiders, I do stream every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this week we have my friend William Henderson on to talk about World of Warcraft. If there's one thing that we love here, it's Arc Raiders, but we also really love World of Warcraft, and I'm excited to have him on. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Love your faces, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.